Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In previous video, I have shown you how to code for the sign up button and how we have checked that whenever any field is empty, then we are going to show a toast message that enter credentials and how to store these data, the sign up data into our real-time database in the Firebase. Here you can see this. In this one, this is a real-time database inside the Firebase, and here you can see this. We have created two accounts for now: abc@gmail.com and username is abc, and abcdd@gmail.com and the username is abc for this one also. So I have shown all of these in the previous video. So you have not watched that video, then just go to description. There I put the link for my previous video, or you can simply do one thing: just click on the suggestion on the right side of the screen. Okay, so in this video, we are going to code for the sign in button, and also when I click on this already have an account, we want to move to the sign in button, and when I click on sign up, then we need to move on this page. For that, move back to our project and let's start working. So we are working on this BD chat. So first thing, we are going to start coding for sign in. For that, initially I want to open the sign in page. For that, go into the Android manifest.xml, and here we have to cut this part, and whenever the app start, I want to open the sign in from now onwards. So I'm going to restart the application, and let's check over here that if sign in page is on the screen or not. So you can see this, we have the sign in page. So I'm going to show you how to code for this one and how to code for this button, this label actually. So let me close this and move back. I'm going to close this one also and move back to the sign in activity. Double click on this and make some space over here because we are going to create some variables over here. Okay, so let's start there with this. So in the previous video, I have told you that we are going to use the binding feature of the Android throughout this complete application. We are not going to do the find view by ID and something like that. So make sure you have watched my previous video so that you can understand this one very easily. Okay, so first thing here, what we have to do is we have to create a activity sign in binding this one, and I'm going to name this one binding. After this, we need a process dialog box to show that whenever a user click on sign in, I want to show a process is being executed in the backend, but I want to show to the user that your validation is in progress. For that, we need a process dialog box. So I'm going to just create a variable for that, progress dialog, and I'm going to name this one progress dialog. After this, we need a Firebase authentication. For that, I'm going to create a Firebase auth, and I'm going to name this one mauth. And I'm also going to create a Firebase database object over here so that we are going to use that later, but still I'm going to create it over here. So Firebase database, and I'm going to name this one Firebase database like this one. After this, we have to make some changes over here. So I'm going to delete this one, and here we have to write binding is equal to activity sign in binding, and inside after this we have to write dot inflate, and inside this one we have to write get layout inflator. Now the task for this one is done, and after this we have to set content view, and we have to pass binding dot get root. Now the task for this one is done. We have already hidden the toolbar because we don't need it in the sign in. Okay, after this we have to initialize this mauth and Firebase, and this one that is progress dialog. We have to set the content for this progress dialog. So I'm going to just create for this one. So first I'm going to initialize this mauth is equal to Firebase auth.get instance. After this, I'm going to create a Firebase database is equal to Firebase database.get instance. Now we have the instance for both of these, that is mauth. Whenever you have created a new instance for these two, the color of this one is changed. We haven't used this progress dialog, so the color for this one is a little bit gray, and this one the color is changed. Okay, so make sure you initialize these, otherwise this will cause an error at the runtime. Okay, so now we have created. Now we have to set the progress bar. So I'm going to set the progress dialog dot is equal to new progress dialog, and inside this one we have to pass the sign in activity dot this, and we have to set the title. So progress dialog dot set title, and inside this one I'm going to set login. Okay, and after this I'm going to set this progress dialog dot set message, and inside this one I'm going to set validation in progress. Or before this I'm going to type like this, please wait, and I'm going to put this /n to change the line, validation in progress. Yeah, this one is looking better. Okay, after this I'm going to set a click listener in the sign in button. So my sign in button name is binding.btn sign in. Let me just show you from where you have to fetch this name. So move back inside the sign in, just double click on this, and on this design click on this one, and here you will find the ID for this one. If you have changed this name, then make sure you type that name over here. If you don't type this, there will be a mistake. So btn sign in dot set on click listener, and inside this one we have to write new view dot on click listener. Now our click listener is ready. So first thing what we have to do is we have to start the progress dialog. So let me just progress dialog dot show. So I want to show this progress dialog. Let me start this and let's check. If I click on that button, the sign in button, then the progress dialog is visible or not. So if I'm going to click on this, please wait, validation in progress. So this dialog is never going to end because we haven't stopped or discard this dialog box at any position for now. So I have to manually stop this. Okay, so this comma is looking odd, so I'm going to remove this, and this is fine. Okay, before we start this progress dialog, first I want to check that if the user has entered the username and password in the field or not. For that I'm going to check if we have did the same thing in the sign up page. So I hope you remember some part of code so that you can type this code by yourself. Okay, with the help of binding we can access the name. So binding dot our text field name is txt email dot, and we have to get text from this text field and convert this to string and is empty. So when we write as empty and we put a exclamation mark over here, then it means that it's not empty. We are going to check that if this text field is not empty, then only we enter into this if condition. Otherwise we need to go to the else condition, and we have to check for one more, that is not binding dot txt password dot get text dot to string dot is empty. Now we have to put this under this one, just cut this and paste it inside this one and delete the extra space. And in the else condition I want to show some toast to the user. So toast, create a new toast. Inside this one I'm going to pass a text that is enter credentials like this. Okay, so now validation for the empty text field is done. So let's start this and let's check this one. So in the if condition we have set the progress dialog to show, and in the else condition we have shown a toast. So when I click on this and these both fields are empty, so it's showing toast. If I enter something inside these two and when I click on this, it will show me the progress dialog. Okay, so this one is working fine. Now we have to start working inside this one. After this validation we have to use this mauth dot sign in with email ID and password. This is predefined method which we can use with the help of this Firebase auth. Okay, so with the help of this we can easily validate our username, email ID and password from the Firebase database, and this will really decrease our so many lines of code. Okay, so in the sign in with email ID and password, inside this one we have to pass the first the email ID and the second the password. So I'm going to pass this one by binding dot txt email dot get text and convert this one to string. After this the second one is binding dot txt password dot get text dot to string. Okay, so after this, we have to set a dot add on click complete listener. So I'm going to set dot add on complete listener, and inside this one we have to write new on complete listener and select the first one. Double click on this. This will generate an event like this. Okay, so inside this one, it's showing an error because we have to put the semicolon over here. So when we put it over here, the error is resolved. If you see this much of code, then you have to simply delete this much. Okay, now the error is over here is also resolved. So okay, so m.auth, whenever the sign in is success or add on complete, that this sign in is successfully completed, then we enter inside this one. Okay, and this one, first thing what we have to do is just dismiss this progress dialog. So I'm going to dismiss this progress dialog dot dismiss. If this one is successfully dismissed, the next thing what we have to do is we have to check if task dot is successful. Then what we have to do is we have to just move to the main activity, else we have to show a toast. So I'm going to show a toast. Inside this one, whatever exception generated while being sign in, then we have to show that message over here. So from where we get that error message or whatever response we get from the Firebase will be in this task. So with the help of this task, we can simply get it. So task dot get exception dot get message. So when I write this, we will get the exception. If this one is successful and task is also successful, then we move to the main activity. So here we have to write the simply intent. So intent, and I'm going to create a new intent. So intent is equal to new intent. Inside this one, we have to pass the two variables. One is the sign in activity where we are right now. So sign in activity dot this, and the second one is main activity where we want to move. So main activity is where we are going to show all the users of our app, and we are going to show the users available to chat over there. Okay, so make some space, and here we are going to start the activity. So start activity, and inside this one we have to simply pass the intent. Now the sign in part is done. So let's start the application and let's check if this one is working or not. Okay, so first I'm going to click on this. We are here in this else condition because this one is empty, so we can't enter into this if block, so we are in here. Okay, so now we are going to check that what will happen if I enter some wrong username and some wrong password. If I click on sign in, validation in progress, the enter email address is badly formatted. So this email address is badly formatted for now because Gmail address is like this, or even any email address is like this. It's check in the backend. We have set this text field as a email ID text field. That's why it's checking a specific pattern for the particular text field. So if I click on this, you can see this, there is no user record corresponding to this email address. So we initially, this is a bad format because we haven't written this email ID in the proper format. Now we have written in this proper format, but in the database we have only two users, that is abc@gmail.com and abcdd@gmail.com. So now our app can't able to find the proper user ID account related to this one. So that's why it's showing the message. So again, we are not into this if block, we are in this else block because it's showing the whatever exception is being generated and stored into this task is being visible in the toast. Here you can see this. Initially, this is a one exception. If I delete some piece of this one like .com and it's simply @Gmail, if I click on this, okay, so still it's not shaking. Okay, now I'm going to delete like this, and here you can see this, the email address is badly formatted. It means that the regular expression is working fine, that we haven't implemented that. It's internal coding for that one, so we don't need to worry about that. Okay, so now we went to this else condition. Now I'm going to check what happened if I enter correct username and password. Okay, in this I'm going to first check what we have in this activity underscore means. If I move inside this one, for now we have only hello world. Here you can see this. Okay, so for now I'm going to increase the size for this hello world so that whenever we log in, it's clearly visible. So text in letter, we are going to remove this 25 sp, or like 45 SP. Okay, and I'm going to change this one to hello world to welcome. Text color black. Yeah, now this one is looking better. Now I'm going to close this and I'm going to restart the application, and let's check what will happen when we enter a valid user ID and password. So move back into this one, and here you can see this, we have two abc@gmail.com, and we have the password this one. So I'm going to log in with abc@gmail.com, and the password is 123456. And I'm going to click on sign in, validation in progress, and here you can see this, now we are on the main activity. So now sign in is working fine. Okay, so we don't have any property or any feature on our app to log out. We are going to implement in the next video. In this video, we are going to implement one more part, that is when we click on the sign up button and when we click on the another button which is in the sign up page, we want to move to the sign in and sign up simultaneously. So before that, we have one small bug in our application, that is whenever we close this application and when we move to the speedy chat, we are again in the sign in page. Okay, so what I want is whenever I remove the application from the recent app and whenever I restart the application, I want to simply skip this sign in page. If I have signed in for the first time, directly I want to move to the main activity. For that, what we have to do is, let me just minimize this, and we have to put a small few lines of code. Here I'm going to check that if mauth dot get current user is not equal to null, it means that we are going to check that if the current user is not equal to null, then we want to simply move to the main activity, right? So I'm going to write this intent is equal to new intent, and this is sign in activity dot this, and I'm going to move to the main activity dot class, and we have to simply start the activity. And inside this one, I'm going to pass the intent, and now restart the application, and let's check what will happen now whenever our application is started. So here you can see this, directly we are on the sign in page. To see this clearly, I'm going to close this application or uninstall this application, and I'm going to reinstall this application. So here you can see this uninstalled BD chat. So I'm going to reinstall it, and this time we are on the sign in page. So now I'm going to start sign in with the abc@gmail.com, and password is 123456, and I'm going to click on sign in. Now please wait, validation in progress. Now we are on the welcome, that is the main activity. So I'm going to close this and restart the application, and this time we can see sign in is automatically progressed with the help of this code. This is if mauth.current user is not equal to null, and we directly move to the main activity. So now the task till here is done. Next thing what we have to do is we have to code for this one. Whenever I want to click on this, click to sign up, then we want to move to the sign up, and when we click on this button, then we want to move to the sign in. Okay, so to code and to see the implementation, first I want to install this, because whenever we restart the application, it will let us move to the main activity. So we don't want that for now. So I've restarted the application. We are going to code for this one, that is click on sign up to move to the sign up, and click on sign in to move to the sign in. Okay, so if I move back over here, and here we have to make some space, and here I'm going to use this binding dot, and we have to get that name of that particular text field from here. So you are in sign activity, just click on this, it will show us the XML code. If the design is visible like this one, then you have to simply click on the split, so that it will actually show you the relative code of the particular XML file. So if I click on this, here you can see this is a text view, and the ID for this one is txt click sign up. So if I move back over here, binding dot txt click sign up dot set on click listener, and so this one we have to simply write new view dot on click listener, and here you can see this. Now the click listener for that one is done. Okay, so now I'm going to simply create an intent and move to the sign up activity. So intent is equal to new intent, and so this one we have to pass the sign in activity dot this, and we have to pass where we have to move, that is sign up activity dot class, and we have to simply call start activity and we have to pass the intent. Now restart the application and let's check if this one is working or not. So I've restarted the application, and when I click on this, and you can see this, we are on the sign up page. So now I'm going to code for this one that is already have an account. So I'm going to stop this application, and if I move to this one, that is activity underscore sign up XML, and here we are going to check the name for this one that is already have an account. Click on this, and this username, the ID for this text view is txt already have account. If you have changed the name, then you have to just get this name. Now I'm going to move into the sign up activity, and here go to the bottom, and here I'm going to write binding dot txt already have an account dot set on click listener new view on click listener. Inside this one we have to simply move to the sign in activity whenever we click. So intent is equal to new intent. Inside this one we are currently on the sign up activity, so sign up activity dot this, and we have to move to the sign in activity. So sign in activity dot class, and we have to pass this intent into this start activity. We have to pass the intent. Now I'm going to restart the application and let's check if this one is working or not. So here we go. Click on sign up, and when we click on this, we again on the sign up. Sign in, sign up, sign in, sign up. This one is working fine. So I hope you have coded this and this one is working fine in your system. So that's it for this video, guys. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to implement the logout in the main activity, and after that I'm going to show you how to log in with Google in your application. So till then, just stay tuned, subscribe and share with your friends, and like this video and follow us on Instagram. Thanks for watching.